Hello, everyone. Today I want to talk about a recent Criterion release. In fact, just a couple days ago, July 20th of 2021, that I picked up in the Barnes& and Noble Criterion half price sale, and that's the film La Piscine. And this is a 1969 film directed by Jacques Deray that stars Alain Delon and Romy Schneider. Maurice Monet and Jane Birkin are also in the film. This is from the opening sequence of the movie, um, and it sort of implies that the movie is going to be kind of sexually explicit. It really isn't. It has some erotic scenes, but nothing that would really alarm any censors. Um, and Alain Delon and Romy Schneider have been a couple for 2 years. They've borrowed a luxurious villa in the south of France, right outside Saint-Tropez. We do actually, in one of the, I think we only see the sea in the distance in one shot, but they're only like a couple miles from the sea. But they're not going into town, they're not going to the beach. They're staying at this villa, kind of secluded, a world unto themselves, the swimming pool being the center of their lives, the swimming pool itself becoming a kind of character in the movie. Um, it's This is the picture from the booklet, or actually it's a pamphlet in which the pool is an omnipresent aspect of the movie. There's the shallow end and the deep end, and we get to see by the end of the film, we get to see the deep end. Their seclusion is interrupted by an old mutual friend played by Maurice Monet. He's in town with his daughter, played by Jane Birkin. She's They come to visit. Romy Schneider immediately invites them to stay for a while with them at the villa. They accept. Um, there's some hidden tension that comes with this visit. This is not a movie that's explicit in what the characters are thinking. We watch them as they react. It's a movie without much dialogue. Jacques Deray had told his screenwriter to pare it down as to just the core of it, because he wanted to be free to shoot the scenes as he saw fit on the set. He didn't want the dialogue to get in the way. So as the movie progresses, we admire the beauty. And I have to say that this movie, at least in one sense, is a celebration of the beauty of Alain Delon, Romy Schneider, Maurice Monet, different kinds of beauty. And Jane Birkin, she sort of represents the swinging London of the late 1960s. But underneath all this beauty, there's something going on, but it's a slow burn. It takes a while to develop, but we feel it. We feel a tension there. We don't know what it is exactly. We sense, as Alain Delon senses, that there was once a relationship between Romy Schneider and Maurice Monet. He's a lovable, happy kind of guy. Alain Delon is a sort of inward, tight-lipped. We learn early on in the film that he had once tried to commit suicide. He had tried to be a writer. He went into the ad business because he was not successful, whereas Maurice Monet has gone on into the music business, drives a Maserati. So there's tension, there's jealousy, perhaps, jealousy both in Romy Schneider and the success that Maurice Monet has. But the chemistry that this whole cast has together, you can't imagine there being a more perfect cast as this. Monet and Delon work well off each other. Delon's first movie success, his breakout movie, was a movie called Purple Noon in 1960, which also featured Maurice Monet and also featured water. and Romy Schneider and Alain Delon had had a much publicized relationship that had ended a few years before the shooting of La Piscine. So this was highly anticipated, this reunion, and the film gets that out of the way because people wanted to see this great glamorous couple reunited. So it gets this is the opening scene of the film. It gets that out of the way pretty quick. It satisfies what I'm sure the filmmakers thought was the audience's expectations. But it's pretty sexy all through the movie. I mean, we see people in the women in mini skirts and magnificent dresses, and the men in their swimming trunks, and so as as part of the presentation by Criterion on this Blu-ray, they include the English language version, which was called Swimming Pool First Love Never Dies. and it was filmed simultaneously in English, which was not a totally unique thing, because I watched the Champagne Murders, a Claude Chabrol movie with Anthony Perkins, and that they did shoot an English language version as well. I checked out about 10-15 minutes of the English language version, and it's very watchable. All of them speak, the three French actors speak very fluent English, so that's not a problem. What is a problem with that one is they used the Spanish ending to the movie. The Generalissimo Franco objected to the ending. I imagine it because it shows the police is not totally efficient in a kind of police state that the Generalissimo ruled over. That was taboo. But on the English language version, they include the Spanish version. And it's a totally different edit. Although in the 20 minutes that I watched, it didn't seem, I couldn't detect any real difference to it. But the ending in the French language version, I think is absolutely superb. Ending very much in line with the whole mood of the film that we've seen, and we get, you don't have to check there is a supplement with just the Spanish ending. It's only about 15 seconds long. There's also a recent documentary made by Jacques Deray's daughter, which includes interviews with Jean-Claude Carré, the screenwriter, Alain Delon, and Jane Birkin. Romy Schneider, of course, passed away quite tragically, many years ago. And in that interview, with the part with Alain Delon, he reminisces. He can't watch the movie because everybody outside of Jane Birkin, the other two people plus the director Jacques Deray, are gone, and it's too painful for him to watch. But he says that originally Deray and the producers wanted Monica Vitti. Alain Delon had a big success with Michelangelo Antonioni's Eclipse, co-starring Vitti. They obviously had some pretty hot chemistry together too, but Delon wanted Romy Schneider. He insisted on it. In the end, they acquiesced. Romy Schneider's career was not in the doldrums exactly, but this movie did revive it, and she went on to make a number of films with Claude Sautet that were successful. Alain Delon and the director Jacques Deray went on to several films, and Deray's career was basically very commercial crime movies, police movies. This was kind of an interlude. Swimming Pool, La Piscine is kind of an interlude in his career, where he never really made a movie quite like this before or after, and it was very popular. It had a built-in popularity with the Delon Romy Schneider reunion kind of thing, but it was very popular, and it's been revived many times. And Delon, in his interview, is very proud of the fact that the film has retained its popularity. in Jane Birkin's remarks in this interview, she said that there was considerable tension on the set. There was you could cut it with a knife, but that certainly worked into the movie itself as there's this undercurrent of tension that's really kind of hypnotic in the watching of the film, which can sometimes seem like you're watching a commercial. It's very glossy, very very colorful. The sun just drenches the characters. Also in the supplements, there's an interview with Nick Rees-Roberts, and this is outstanding. I mean, it covers the look of the film, the aesthetic, the opening scene. They even recently I think perfume or company used that image of Alain Delon next to the swimming pool. You know, what are we, almost 50 years, over 50 years away from the movie. That's how powerful the look of this film has, and Rees-Roberts goes through some of the set design, the clothing. Jane Birkin was encouraged to bring her own wardrobe from swinging London, where she lived. Also, she had just started a relationship that turned out to be a long-term relationship with Serge Gainsborough, and he publicly stated, working with both Alain Delon and Maurice Brunet, two very attractive men, that hands off. And she, even I think she was 20, she's playing 18, I think she was 20 at the time, and she had already been married to John Barry, the famous composer, who famously dumped her and went to California to pursue his career. She has a really good look, and she doesn't have much dialogue, but there's a couple of scenes that are absolutely crucial to the climax of the film. Then there's some archival footage of Delon and Romy Schneider. He's meeting her at the airport, which is kind of interesting to see. Overall, I would say I was really surprised how well I like this movie. It was remade as A Bigger Splash. It's part of the inspiration for this movie was a painting by David Hockney called A Bigger Splash. So that was in 2018, and Francois Ozon also made a film that isn't so much a remake of this, but definitely inspired by it, called Swimming Pool, somewhere around 2000. So that will wrap this one up. This is a recommendation of a movie I was really looking forward to see. It's playing at the Film Forum in New York City right now. I was actually thinking I've yet to go back to the movie theater, but that was one I would have really liked to see on screen. But it looks pretty good to me on this Criterion Blu-ray release. So that about wrap this one up. Thanks again for everybody who's listened. I appreciate it. Catch you next time.